Message and data rates may apply.
When did it become okay for men to be lazier, softer, fatter? We need to bring the men of this country back to greatness. And it's easier than ever with Ageless Male Max, a patent-pending formula with an ingredient that helps boost your total testosterone, promoting greater increases in muscle size and twice the reduction of body fat percentage than exercise alone. Plus, an amazing 64% increase in nitric oxide, which can be handy in the gym and in the bedroom. Take your manhood to the max by trying your first 30-day bottle free. Just pay shipping and handling. Not 10 days, not 15 days, but a full 30-day supply free when you text the word LIFT to 797979. Finally, a formula that boosts total testosterone. If your results with Ageless Male Max are too intense, please decrease use. For your free bottle, text LIFT to 797979. Text LIFT to 797979.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
So there are two things that most ESPN people are going to be talking about today because ESPN does a pretty good job of ignoring hockey. It'll be LeBron James and the draft. And this is what I enjoyed about the draft. First of all, congratulations to the New York Knicks as they continue to spend time in this purgatory within a decade of irrelevance. They get the 9th overall pick in the draft. Not helpful.
Nope.
And what I love is at the top of the draft, the Suns, who were god-awful, are trying to figure out whether to fly to Belgrade to draft a guy who looks like Opie. So, do you want your team? This is the question I want to put on the poll. How do you feel about your team here flying to Belgrade? Like when I say that to you, and he looks like a more wholesome Goran Dragic. This kid out of Slovenia that was on Goran Dragic's EuroLeague team that won the championship.
Right. He's 19 years old. He's a 6'8" point guard.
But look at him.
I am looking at him.
He looks like he's in high school. And we've been having this conversation about basketball for a long time. You could take the Arizona kid who looks like every basketball player, great basketball player you've seen, or you could take this guy who doesn't. And I want to ask the nation this question, the nation of sports followers, before we get to LeBron James and what the hell happened last night with the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Boston Celtics. This is the question I want to ask you, and I defy you to answer it as an American nation that cares about sports. Who's the coach of the Suns? Anyone?
Is it Earl Watson?
Not anymore.
No, not anymore.
That was wasn't that 2 or 3 coaches ago?
Yeah. It's Earl.
Is it Kokoskov?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how you pronounce it?
I don't know whether you pronounce it like that, but that's the guy.
Yeah, the Slovenian national team coach.
Well, how do you feel about all that? Not at the risk of being xenophobic, how do you feel if you're the Phoenix Suns? You've been dreadful. You got nothing other than Devin Booker. Nobody, you're Tyson Chandler. The mummified remains of Tyson Chandler were wandering around the court for you the last couple of seasons. You're unspeakably awful as a basketball team. You're not a professional basketball team. You're a minor league basketball team.
I watched that FIBA competition. Slovenia was playing amazing basketball.
Yes, they were.
Goran Dragic was playing the best basketball of his career, which is saying something because he's had a really good career.
But my question to you is this. This is why I want to analyze. This is the part of the draft that I'd like to analyze with you guys, which is when you're getting this grainy footage from elsewhere, and you've seen the Darkos, and you've seen Dirks too, but you're getting this grainy footage from elsewhere. You're not getting to see a guy in college. You're not even hearing the talk about him the way that you did about Ben Simmons before he got to college.
Right.
It's just your team is drafting someone from Belgrade. How do you feel about that when you haven't seen that person play?
I don't feel really good about it, to be honest with you, but I trust Fran Fraschilla on this stuff because he's the only guy watching these guys over in Europe, and he says by far number 1 pick in this year's NBA draft. That's good enough for me. If Fran says he's the number 1 pick, then that's good enough for me, regardless of how the guy looks. And this guy looks like he's the furthest thing from a great basketball player.
It's actually kind of weird for me because this is a really rare instance in which I've seen Doncic more than the other guys because I saw that Slovenian
That's right, because you were obsessed with Goran Dragic's summer.
So I think he's an absolute stud. He got a triple-double.
Oh, he is a stud.
No, but that doesn't happen in Europe. Okay, that hasn't happened in 11 years over there. The games are a lot slower paced and they're shorter. To put up the stats that he puts, especially when they don't play young kids all that much early on, this kid's an absolute monster.
I know, and so was Porzingis. And people were torn on him. And the place I wanted to go conversationally with this is because Pat Riley's had an issue with this. Pat Riley doesn't love international players. And so I'm asking you specifically, when you hear your team is flying out to Belgrade to fix things, what do you think?
Yeah, especially in Phoenix. Although Phoenix might be a progressive basketball town because they sort of started the evolution, were more progressive with their roster. They had Boris Diaw, they had Barbosa, they had a more international flair, so maybe they're more welcoming to Kokoskov and Doncic.
Do you have that Amin El-Hassan sound when he was working for the Phoenix Suns about him as an intern telling that story? It's a great story. Please grab that sound if you can, because it's a wonderful story that Amin El-Hassan, when he was a very low-level employee with the Phoenix Suns, and everything's gone downhill since then. But he got in front of the group because the Phoenix Suns are a progressive international organization. It hasn't served them a whole lot.
I mean, initially, it certainly did. I mean, and two-time MVP being Canadian, Barbosa and Diaw making contributions. They made it to a Western Conference final. If Amari didn't come off the bench that one time, they probably would have made the NBA Finals.
Right. I'm watching the footage. It's not so grainy. It's not grainy like it used to be. It's actually pretty clear here. We've made advancements on that front. This kid is good.
Okay. Honestly, like, he plays for Real Madrid, okay? Like, there is no grainy footage. They have high definition over
All right,
there.
well, but you would agree, right? And again, my information on this is dated, but yes, they have high definition in Jacksonville too, and it doesn't mean that every press conference coming out of there isn't with grainy footage. But fair enough. Point taken. I was using bias from a long ago time that now we could go to Belgrade and get high definition. My bad. Point stands though. Like, is your NBA analysis as a sports fan just soaked in some sort of xenophobia where you want Americans? You still don't trust the international players, even as the international players come through the pipeline differently, or have come through the pipeline differently than the 7-footers in America who have largely been put in the post until the last couple of years.
Is this an American thing or your number one overall pick being a white guy?
Well, it's the haircut.
Oh.
It's the haircut that got me. I'm looking at the haircut and I'm like, you can't be good with that haircut. You're not going to be a good pro with that haircut. Have you never done that?
Oh, I've done. Dan, have I done that? Of course I've done that.
Who have you done it to, though? Who have you done it to and been wrong? Where have you been wrong? Like, we've been talking about hair for a long time around here. It goes back to Don King. I've told you before. Why does Don King's hair look like that way? That way, it's trying to get away from him.
Nerlens Noel. Thought he was going to be awesome just based off the confidence.
But that's
to wear that hairstyle.
You just want hair. You're not doing confidence, body type, anything else, just based off the hair?
Elfrid Payton, a lot better than I assumed.
That was my guy.
Wait a minute.
I said there's no way a guy with that head of hair is going to be good in the NBA. He's pretty good. He's actually the Suns' point guard. They're going to have to release him now because they're taking this guy from Europe.
You guys are talking about great hair. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, I remember one of the great indignities of Dream Team basketball is that one of our Dream Teams lost to Puerto Rico, Carlos Arroyo, and a 40-year-old center who had gel in his hair. It's the greatest shame. It's worse than that Russia loss. It's the greatest shame in international basketball history that one of our dream teams lost to Carlos Arroyo and a 40-year-old center with gel in his hair.
I believe that guy was wearing a gold chain.
It was amazing to watch. You guys are doing guys you thought would be great based on their hair. Mike Ryan had a great observation the other day, not the first one to make it, but go look at internet photos about the difference between James Harden with a beard and without a beard, because James Harden without a beard can't be great.
Oh, there's no way.
He's a mediocre player.
Yeah, I'm not even certain he's in the NBA.
It can't be. James Harden without a beard is one of the weirdest looking things you will ever see.
Totally disarming. I don't know what to do with this.
He can't be great looking that way, but you put the beard on him, boom, great.
Superstar. Shoe line.
We will talk about this LeBron game last night because LeBron does not lose that game. LeBron does not put up that stat line and lose very often. And LeBron put up that stat line and lost to a team that all of us know is overachieving and just, by the standards of the Eastern Conference Championship as a team throughout history, just okay.
Yep.
This is just an okay basketball team that plays really well together and took LeBron's best punch last night. We're going to be talking about that a lot. And I don't know what else we're going to be talking about today because it's Wednesday, and I just saw on SportsCenter that they were actually covering a rain postponement in baseball. They said Yankees Nationals, 6th inning. They showed some highlights, and then
what do you mean?
Then they showed rain and postponed because Wednesday.
Oh, all right. He doesn't lose that game often. You're right. He only loses that game when he wants to lose that game, when he feels like it.
Sometimes it's hard to find a satisfying vape that's simple and convenient. Blue, who introduced vaping to the world, is now introducing My Blue. My Blue gives you all the satisfaction with none of the hassle. Just click and go. With My Blue's easy-to-use one...
Dan Le Batard.
And finally, the shortest, most concise tongue twister is toy boat. Try saying that 5 times fast. Toy boat, toy boy, toy boy, toy boat, toy boat.
He came closer than I did. Toy boy, toy boy, toy boy, toy boy, toy boy.
Stugotz.
Everybody, let's go around the room. Chris, what do you got? What do you got? Give us 5 straight toy boats. Say it as fast as you can.
Toy boat, toy boat, toy boat, toy boat, toy boat.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
We were telling you during the local hour of the show that even if you are someone who hates advanced stats, and Stugotz has ripped Tom Haberstroh, says Tom Haberstroh has jumped the shark because Tom Haberstroh uses these advanced analytics to tell you in the Houston Golden State game that Houston dribbled 300 more times than Golden State. But this stat from last night, I don't think you actually need another stat. Like, we can sit here and say that Boston's backcourt outscored Cleveland's backcourt, whatever it was, 41-3. Mm-hmm. We could sit here and talk about how all the players that the Cavs traded for gave them nothing last night.
Yep.
But to me, the stat of that game, when LeBron goes crazy like that, the stat of that game is this. The Cavs had 11 open looks. The Celtics had 42. You're not playing playoff defense. And that's how Boston, an okay team by anyone's measurements, but not a championship team by anyone's measurements.
Right.
Boston was able to beat Cleveland because if that happens, any NBA team beats you no matter what LeBron does.
Right.
Like, if that happens where you've got these looks where Terry Rozier is just sitting there and LeBron is 24 feet away from him.
Yep. But it starts and ends with LeBron. I mean, it does, Dan. It starts and ends with LeBron. If you're a player on that team and you're seeing the best player in the world, the guy who's carried you to this point, and you see him just not playing defense, not sliding, not getting anyone who's just coming straight down the lane, not even trying to help at all, just letting guys get to the basket. If you're a guy on that team and he's not putting in max effort, you have to be saying to yourself, well, why should I? I mean, you do. I know there's personal pride, but your leader is your leader. He's the greatest of all time. He simply was not trying defensively last night. I don't care. I watched the game, Dan. There's a million times you just let guys get to the basket, and it was easy.
Stugotz, I watched the game as well, and I find it very hard to criticize LeBron James with that stat line.
That's what he does, though. Dan, there are 2 sides of the floor. You know this. I'm not explaining basketball to you. But 42 points, 12 assists, and 10 rebounds. He can do that whenever he wants.
No, he can't do that whenever he wants. He can't do that whenever he wants.
He can give you a stat line that would have it, would make it pretty difficult for anyone to question his effort last night, because all you'll be able to do is point to someone like you, say 42, 12, and 10, where I'm telling you defensively, he was a complete disaster.
I'm not disputing that Cleveland was terrible on defense, and I'm not disputing that even he was lethargic on defense. But I don't know how to separate not trying and being interested in leaving from he might be really tired. Now, I understand in the last series you say to yourself, he wasn't tired. In game 1, he sure as hell was against Toronto.
Yep.
And I just don't know with that kind of mileage on those legs, eventually he's got to save time and energy somewhere if you're carrying everybody around. He might as well have played last night's game with J.R. Smith strapped to his shoulders. In fact, not strapped to his shoulders. J.R. Smith strapped to him like one of those baby bags that fathers wear where they have the baby on their chest.
Right.
He should have played the whole game with J.R. Smith there just so that he would have the added weight. And then maybe you put George Hill on one ankle as an ankle weight, and you put Nance on another ankle as an ankle weight, and you try and play the game that way. What are those called? What are those?
Baby Bjorns? Are they baby Bjorns?
Parents
in the room, help me out. Are those baby Bjorns? Obviously, you never be caught dead wearing one of those.
How do you feel about that, by the way? How do you feel about the father who has Guillermo, put it on the poll. The dad who has a baby strapped to his chest. Is that the way to carry a baby? Yes or no?
I own 2 of those.
What? You know what it's called, though?
No, I just call it a baby carrier.
It's a baby carrier.
You own 2 of those, but you just call it a baby carrier.
Yeah, it's called the baby carrier.
Well, there you go.
All right.
It is. That's exactly what it is. Is the baby carrier business booming?
Oh man, I think it's relatively new.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Also, Claire kind of outgrew the first one. That's why I have 2.
It's not new. I had one 14 years ago. I mean,
it feels new.
It's new to you because the baby's new.
There you go.
Everybody puts those on their registry. They're booming. The business is booming.
Have you guys ever wanted to be carried on one of those as an adult by like a giant? I've told you about this before, this dream of mine, where like a giant 7'4", 7'5" person carries me around in one of those baby carriers on their chest.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That would be so great. And strollers for adults, they're a thing now. And I know you're going to say wheelchairs. Not wheelchairs. Strollers for adults. They're basically recliners where people push you around. Those exist now. Oh my God, Dan. That's the dream. That is the dream. Imagine someone pushing you down Ocean Drive.
You have dreams of Yao Ming walking around with you strapped to his chest in a baby carrier.
If you want to know my actual dream last night, I had a nightmare that I was like really, really overweight and I just started crying.
Oh, no.
So you were me?
Don Le Batard.
Stugotz has been doing this for years because Stugotz is the roadrunner here and I'm the coyote. He'll say something right before the microphones come on, meant to get my attention, and he means it. And this time it was, I got a big problem with Jim Mora, man.
Stugotz.
He wasn't talking to me. He was just talking to his computer.
Yeah, I tend to do that.
Right before the microphones went on, he just he lobbed it out there. I don't know whether it's subliminal or he doesn't know how to do subtlety, so it just hits me in the side of the face like a fish flying from the ocean.
It's just in case you need it, man. I throw it out there. I say it right before we go on air. If you forget what we're talking about, it's just a little Jim Mora to put in your back pocket. You know, it's always there, okay? And when you need it, you go to your back pocket, you pull it out, and boom! I ripped Jim Mora.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Happy 45th birthday to Wee Man from Jackass.
And happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
People are saying that Jeff Van Gundy had the line of the night last night because you could see when Cleveland falls apart, you can see the places that they get frustrated with each other in a way that's obvious to the eye, and you don't have a lot of announcers doing this during a game.
The Cavs eye roll each other more than a couple in a bad marriage.
People love that line, like stand-up line. People just loved that line, and I'm guessing that you loved it because you're in a bad marriage.
Yeah. You're just married. I mean, it could be a good marriage, a bad marriage, just eye rolls happen, man.
Eye rolls happen.
Yep.
Do eye roll, Guillermo, put it on the poll. Do eye rolls happen in every marriage? Not just bad ones. All of them. I was telling you about that Amin Al-Hassan story because we were talking about the Suns, and the Suns had a contingent going to Slovenia. I also read something about them flying to Belgrade to check somebody out. And while I can't name the Suns coach, they are very internationally flavored. And Amin Al-Hassan started his career with them. He's from the Sudan. He was very proud of his heritage and his position in the Suns organization as a very low-level employee. And did he say it was at a Christmas party? Well, let's hear it in his words, what he did the time that he was given a microphone at one of the team functions.
I grabbed the mic. I said, I got something to say, too. You know, we have an international team here. Steve Nash is from Canada. Boris Diaw's from France. Leandro Barbosa is from Brazil. And I like how we all come together from different backgrounds to work for the same goal. And if I could, I'd like to share this old Sudanese poem that kind of talks about people coming from different backgrounds and working together. And I'll try and translate it roughly, so bear with me. And the poem goes something like this. Now the world don't move to the beat of just one drum. What might be right for you may not be right for some. A man is born, and he's a man of means. But then along come two, and they've got nothing but the genes. But they've got different strokes. It takes different strokes. It takes different strokes to move the world. Everyone's got a different kind of story. Everybody's got a way to shine. It don't matter if you got not a lot. So what? They'll have theirs. You got yours, and I've got mine. And together we will find that it takes different strokes to move the world. Yes, it does. It takes different strokes to move the world. And I looked around the room, and everyone just stared at me.
I know, but I knew what you were doing.
No clue. Someone
not a person.
Someone,
not one giggler in the room knew what you were doing. The theme song to Different Strokes.
Someone came up to me and said that was a very beautiful poem.
It is. It's a really good story.
Awesome.
How mad are you allowed to get at Robinson Cano when we've got in the booth analyzing his game somebody who was suspended twice as long? That's the voice. That's ESPN's voice for Sunday Night Baseball is Alex Rodriguez.
I'm just so sick of all these statements. Oh, no, I took it. Yes, I'm not going to fight it. I took it, but it's not a steroid. I didn't mean to do any of this. It's a masking agent. I'd like for one person. I think that in the history of PEDs, there's only been one person that said, yeah, I did it. It was like a WWE wrestler, Roman Reigns. Like, yeah, I got it. It's on me.
Is that true?
Did Andy Pettit say? He did?
But through 2 years, but just that one time. Andy
Pettit's actually the poster boy for what I'm talking about.
Hey, but at least he acknowledged one time.
Well, I think Giambi did it too, sort of, without saying it, because contractually, if he just said it outright, the lawyers told him exactly how. You can imagine, right? The lawyers trying to explain this to a Giambi of any kind. Right? Like, think about this. Giambi, famous for the gold thongs. Basically, Giambi at the height of steroids was running the Oakland A's and seemed like a porn star. And was proud of it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm the partying guy. I'm a rebel bad boy. And then the lawyers got him in a room and like, look, if you admit this too overtly, they're probably going to come after your money. So you got to do a funky dance with your intellect. Good luck with that. Get out in front of the cameras, Jason, and kill him. See how that goes.
But you said a while back, because this is interesting, like, it's totally worth it. Robinson Cano signed a 10-year, $240 million contract with the Mariners. And they miss 80 games. Big deal.
It's not only worth it. I am encouraging all players throughout sports to get busted for steroids, because one of the funniest things in my journalism lifetime is the denials. We've got a whole avalanche. Mark McGwire, like, I think of his career. I think of him in front of Congress not wanting to talk about the past more than I do anything he did on a baseball field.
I mean, it's worth it to get the contract, but he got the contract a couple seasons ago, and now all he's doing is losing $11 million.
Right, but Mike, he's still getting $229 million and an 80-day vacation.
I mean, if he's been doing it his whole career, then yes, mission accomplished.
Really? That's some bad luck from Robinson Cano, huh? The one time he does it, he gets caught. Bummer for him. Like, I mean, I feel like all of sports, the part I don't get is like, yes, of course, if you do the very simple math on this in terms of risk versus reward, yes, of course, anyone who needs healing is going to search for something in the pharmacy that is a fountain of youth.
Remember when they caught Ron Washington that one time?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was just thinking of.
The 77.
What bad luck. He wasn't 77, but he was in his 50s, and for some reason he tried cocaine for the first time. And then he gets caught, and we're all weirded out. We're like, wait a minute, the manager for the Texas Rangers uses cocaine? Wait a minute, they test the managers but not the players? And then Ron Washington is in front of us. I'm sorry, it was the only time I did it. Nobody believed him. And wow, that must be frustrating if it was the only time you did it.
Woke up one morning and said, today's the day.
Today's the day. What is the thing?
I'm going to try cocaine.
That's right. Today's
the testings today.
What is, like, Tony La Russa ended up getting a tattoo late in life. What is the thing that one simply isn't doing for the first time at the age of 50. Like that in terms of sports crime.
Oh, in sports. Didn't Tom Petty get hooked on heroin for the first time in his life in his late 50s? I think he tried heroin for the first time in his 50s and was all about it.
Is that right? I did not know that.
He developed a heroin addiction very late in life.
Like, if you set the over-under at 50, I think everyone would go under on Tom Petty,
but
right?
what Mike just said is exactly how I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
My heroin addiction is coming very late in life, like in my 90s. And Tom Petty, now, it may have helped kill him. That's part of the problem. But if Tom Petty knew he was going to die at 66, go ahead and try heroin at 65. Right?
Right, if you know you're going.
If you know you're going.
Yeah. That's a little risky, though, if you want to try heroin, because there's no guarantees you make it to 90. I mean, you might want to start a little bit earlier.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do that in show one day as an experiment. Do you guys think Disney will allow it? Dan does a show on heroin. Wow, they play near the edge.
Every deck is made for standing on, but there's only one that's always had a way of standing out. So if you're looking to bring more style, comfort, and creativity to your life outdoors, call on the brand that's known for making the most in outdoor living. From decking, railing, and lighting to furniture, fencing, and framing. At Trex, we're engineering what's next in outdoor living. To learn more about all of the outdoor solutions Trex has to offer, call 1-800-289-TREX or visit Trex.com. That's TREX.com.
Don Batard. Stugotz.
When you have the hammer, you gotta use it.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
At SpikeDriver13 writes into Twitter at Lebatard Show, I cannot figure out if Dan can't give the Boston Celtics any credit due to his hatred of Boston or if it's because he is on his knees worshiping LeBron's junk. It's because I worship his junk.
All right.
I have a shrine with candles and stuff and just a jockstrap I stole from the Miami Heat locker room in 2013. Nobody was looking. I pretended like I was talking to somebody else. He wandered away, and I just reached in there. I grabbed the jockstrap, and then I designed a whole room in my house to worship his junk. It's the closest I could get without having his actual junk, which I think he wants to keep.
That was a good year.
Yeah.
That's a special reserve.
The fan who demands more credit for his team. Like, listen to me, Spike Driver 13. Everyone is crediting your team right now as the grittiest thing they've ever seen. Everyone.
They're saying your coach is the greatest coach in the history of the NBA.
Bill Simmons wants to give Marcus Smart the Supermax. Like, everyone is giving your team credit. What is the proper amount of credit I've got to give your team? Where's the spectrum on credit? I want to know where it is. What's the proper amount? I already said during the local hour I was wrong about this team. Like, I thought they were really vulnerable before the postseason started.
Have you mentioned that Hayward and Irving aren't there? You should mention that several more times.
I want to understand this phenomenon. What is the right amount of credit? Because when I give LeBron the credit, you accuse me of worshiping his junk.
Yeah.
Is that the right amount of credit that your team deserves? A team, by the way, that has 0% chance of winning the championship.
Yep.
The Warriors can have 2 injuries and will still beat your team. Like, Steph and KD can go down and they will still beat your Celtics.
They'd beat the Cavs.
Like, I don't know what you want me to do in terms of credit giving.
As a fan, you want max credit. You do.
What is max credit?
Max credit is credit from everyone.
From everyone.
You have yet to give credit. The story, in Boston, the story today should not be about LeBron James, but the national media will always make it about LeBron James. In Boston, they feel like the story is their team, this little engine. That's what they feel like the story is, and they want max credit. And max credit means they got to get credit from everyone at ESPN.
Just so you know, Boston split the season series with Golden State, held Golden State to 88 points one game, only lost by 4 in the game that they lost. Historically,
Boston has played Golden State very well.
I was going to say,
they are one of the teams that beat Golden State at Golden State that year that they never lost at home.
I was going to say Kyrie was healthy, though, but it doesn't seem to matter.
And also, they've got no chance of beating the Warriors. 0%. It is at 0% even. Guillermo, put it on the poll. Will the Warriors beat the Celtics even if Steph and KD are out?
That's not giving them credit.
That's correct.
It's not.
No, but now he's gotten me upset. Now, because
he wants his max credit,
he has
man.
blasphemed against my candle shrine to LeBron's junk, and I will not stand for it.
Remember, part of the pitch to Kevin Durant was, we know how to beat the Warriors. We have the secret sauce.
And it's you not going there. The secret sauce is you coming here and not going there.
Man, I'm just remembering all the meetings that Isaiah Thomas was spearheading. Poor Isaiah.
Yeah, Isaiah, unlike Derrick Rose, Isaiah willing to recruit on behalf of everybody. Oh, but you're just a house we're going to flip. Never mind.
There's got to be such bizarre viewing experiences for Kyrie Irving and Isaiah Thomas during this series. It's got to be bizarre.
Well, Kyrie's doing that thing where he's being great teammate on the sidelines, but I'm not certain he's enjoying this at all.
The thing that I find interesting about Kyrie Irving, as both of these teams get to a place without Kyrie Irving that they would have gotten with Kyrie Irving, is that Boston might not miss him so much right now, but holy bleep, Cleveland does.
Yep.
Like, that part's obvious because this team is no longer three guys, Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving. Man, do you think that they could have gotten something from Kyrie Irving last night if the Cavs still had him? You need something from somebody.
Well, of course they would have gotten something. If he was healthy, yes, of course they would have gotten 30 points
I'm
from
just
Kyrie
saying,
Irving.
this is why there was so much doubt around this Cavs team, and this is specifically the reason that it looked like a weaker team that LeBron has had in about 10 years.
Yeah, but it looked great a series ago, 2 games ago.
Agreed, but it didn't look great 4 games ago, or 6 games ago, I should say.
I have a theory. I think what happened here is LeBron was paying attention to the lottery, the draft lottery, before the game. I think this happened, and he saw that the Cavaliers landed the 8th pick in the draft, and he said to himself, you know what? I'll give him a good half, and then I'm out of here. And that's it. I truly believe that's what happened. Like, he's not going to stay there long term. He was hoping, they were banking when they made that trade that it'd be a top 3 pick. They got the 8th pick in the draft. I mean, please. He's gone.
This is what happened yesterday. LeBron said, I'm not sticking around. Everybody knows I've checked out already, but I can't have that on my resume again. I can't have checked out of a season and a team for a 3rd time. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go up 9.5 hours early. 9.5 hours before the game. I'm going to go shirtless so everybody sees my body. I have a great body. I'm LeBron James. Everyone's going to see what I'm doing. They're going to see this guy cares so much. Look, he's the only one on the court. 9.5 hours before the game even starts on the court. Going to work out. He's going to do everything. And look what happened. By the way, tired. That's why he had a bad second half. Tired from all that stupid working out that he was doing.
Too early.
Was so worried about people thinking that he checked out, that he wore himself out. But he's checked out. We all know he's checked out. He just did the thing yesterday, so people think he didn't check out. I'm telling you right now, he fooled Windhorse, didn't fool me. Checked out, made the decision a year and a half ago.
I love the visual image of, in the second quarter, Adam Silver sprinting down the alley and just knocking neurosurgeons and concussion protocol people out of the way, like just sprinting through them, knocking them over, being like, you will not take him out of this game. And if you put him in a concussion protocol where he misses 3 games, I will kill an intern.
Ryan! I don't know how else to say this, so I'll just say it.
What is it, Linda?
I think we should see other people.
Are you breaking up with me? On a roller coaster?
Well, we do have a lot of fun. Maybe we should stay together.
An emotional roller coaster? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
I just need a little me time.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or...
Message and data rates may apply.
When did it become okay for men to be lazier, softer, fatter? We need to bring the men of this country back to greatness. And it's easier than ever with Ageless Male Max, a patent-pending formula with an ingredient that helps boost your total testosterone, promoting greater increases in muscle size and twice the reduction of body fat percentage than exercise alone. Plus, an amazing 64% increase in nitric oxide, which can be handy in the gym and in the bedroom. Take your manhood to the max by trying your first 30-day bottle free. Just pay shipping and handling. Not 10 days, not 15 days, but a full 30-day supply free when you text the word ROCK to 797979. Finally, a formula that boosts total testosterone. If your results with Ageless Male Max are too intense, please decrease use. For your free bottle, text ROCK to 797979. Text ROCK to 797979.
Don Le Batard.
Didn't you say you were going to clean up your diet today so that you would be more alert and just better at this in general?
I jogged today. I ate healthy today. And by healthy, I had a pepperoni pizza.
I was going to say, you made Chris Cody order you a pepperoni pizza.
It's healthier than what I had on Friday, man. Baby steps.
Stugotz.
Stugotz.
A little pepperoni pizza, Dan.
You promised on all. You promised.
Do you know the health benefits of pizza?
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Happy 74th birthday, Danny Trejo.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
Machete.
Yes.
Sexism and sexual harassment and racism pay. Jerry Richardson, $2.2 billion. Donald Sterling, $2 billion. Like, I got to get out. I'm ashamed. I've misbehaved. Give me $2 billion.
Sweet little parachutes they have on their way
right?
out, huh?
Yeah. I think the guy who purchased the Panthers, it wasn't the highest offer, but he, to get the team, he said, listen, no debt, nothing. Straight cash. Here you go.
Cash, homie.
Yes, yes.
Straight cash,
Jerry,
homie.
I will wire you this amount right now when we are done.
Really? Just like that? Just like that? Who the hell has $2.2 billion in cash?
This guy.
This guy, there was like an article on Deadspin that said he used to have a pair of brass testicles on his desk.
Oh, for the love of God.
I mean, he's a Wall Street private equity hedge fund guy.
Of course. Of course.
What was that offer, Jerry? 2.6? Here's 2.4 cash. I mean, he just hands it to him.
Wait a minute. Give me more information on the new person. I mean, first of all, go ahead and Google search Jerry Richardson and that statue that he has outside of the stadium, which is, I don't know whether it's Greek mythology. I don't even know what he's going for other than godlike hero.
It's really unnecessary to have the Panthers so anatomically correct.
That statue, what's the most ridiculous statue you've ever seen? I know people make fun of that bus with Ronaldo in an airport that doesn't look anything like Ronaldo. But in terms of ridiculous sports statues, is there anything more ridiculous? Is Jerry Richardson in a suit holding back?
Of course he
Panthers?
is.
How many Panthers are in that statue?
There are two Panthers. One is like, jumping, lunging at you. The other one's kind of tame.
And what's his look? How would you describe his look?
He's holding out a football between the two Panthers.
Of course he is. And so the new owner comes in and he's just going to hold out brass balls. Brass balls he kept on his desk in Wall Street. I mean, isn't that redundant at that point? The kind of guy who makes $2.2 billion on Wall Street? Like,
no, you got to have brass balls. I mean,
does that guy put him on the back of his truck, too?
No, he doesn't put him on the back of his truck.
Maybe his driver. You think
Maybe
that guy
his driver does it? I'm just saying, I feel like that guy who pays for a football team in cash always has brass balls at the ready to give somebody in the event that they need to. It's his business card. That statue, like, how did the Carolina Panthers get an owner who is more Jerry Richardson than Jerry Richardson?
Wait, so at the holiday party where everyone's networking and stuff,
That's
this
right.
guy's just handing out
he
brass
just hands
balls?
out brass balls. What other
Does it have his number on it?
What other egomaniacal details can you give me about this new owner? Welcome to the club, big guy.
Fitting right in.
Sarah Spain is with us here for Highly Questionable, and she continues to be totally baffled by Miami. Miami is not Chicago. Sarah gets, bemused, disoriented by our third world Miami-ness. What are some of the things that you've witnessed on this weekly excursion that have made you say, man, Miami is super weird?
Well, yesterday when I went for my workout, I like to go out along whatever you call this beachfront path thing. And I was very confused by a very beautiful long blonde hair with a very small thong bikini on, crouched as if she was admiring something in the foliage off to the side of the path, maybe an interesting bug or a plant. And then I realized that she was just peeing. So I was confused because it was 2:45 p.m., very bright out, and I was like, oh, I wonder what's in there, because I love all the geckos. I love when I see a lizard here, because we don't have those. So I was like, maybe she's looking at a really awesome, and then I saw the puddle and
Well,
and she had her bottoms on, which I guess if you're going to pee in public, you don't take them off.
Mm-hmm.
But that was confusing to me. Also, there was a lot of areas she could have stepped just off the path and done that.
Right.
So
that's not how we do it. Well, a lot of people come to Miami and they're just confused, for example, at checkout, that people are checking in or checking out and nobody's wearing any clothes.
Right.
It's if you come from someplace else, that's a bit disorienting. But we down here, I've said this about Miami, what you get is you get 3 feet and you're like, hey, is that Matt Damon over there? Then you get 3 more feet and you're like, yeah, that's the smell of vomit and urine. And then you 3 more feet. Those are the 3 most beautiful people I've ever seen. And then 3 more feet, there's a guy arguing with himself while pushing a shopping cart. And then
I don't think I have time to go anywhere where I think I see Matt Damon. It's just really the vomit, the people peeing, and then no clothes.
Before each trading day, Tepper rubs the brass balls.
Of course he does.
For good luck.
Yes, of course.
He also lives in Miami.
More importantly, the balls have a plaque affixed to them that says the most valuable set of all time.
Wow. So wow. He says he's got the best ones in the history of testicles.
Wouldn't it be great if they actually used a plaster on his actual, like they're not just an artist rendering.
Right.
They really made sure that they
How do you know they're not? How do you know he has
scale,
it?
to detail.
Look, man, this guy's going to try and put those on the Panther helmet. Like he's going to put it as, like, look, get rid of that Panther. That's too much Jerry Richardson.
Not in front, in the back, like truck nuts, helmet.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go. How about that story involving a high school down here? Was it Columbus High School that decided they were going to have a caged tiger at, what was it, their prom?
Yes. Yeah. That was the story I arrived in Miami to, was that you guys just have tigers in cages at your prom, which seems unnecessary.
Right.
Prom's a great night.
But great, you would agree, if you're not PETA and like,
Right.
if it was your prom.
No, I would not be happy about that.
No?
But I feel like it's maybe a metaphor for the pent-up animalistic desires of young pubescent boys who are waiting to be uncaged shortly after the prom. Unfortunately for the tiger, no such luck.
I remember I told this story before the University of Miami played. LSU used to do this outside the visiting locker rooms. They'd put a heavily sedated tiger outside the visiting locker room for intimidation.
Yeah, I don't like any of that.
But the Hurricanes came out and they were sticking their hands in the cage, and then they beat LSU 44-3 or something, and a defensive tackle chased down LSU's wide receiver.
Is it easy to get a tiger around here? Have you tried, Dan, for anything?
Ron McGill says athletes ask him all the time for tigers. Shaquille O'Neal, chief among them. How disastrous an idea is that, incidentally?
It's a pretty bad idea.
Getting a tiger? Well, do
It's
you remember
all
that
Scarface.
story in
It's all-
Ohio? The guy who went nuts and he had his own personal zoo and he let all of the animals go?
That was a horrible story.
It was
That was like
awful.
magazine
It was like-
story of the year.
Yeah. Well, 2 guys wrote it at
Two
once.
guys wrote the same story. That you guys need to read about that story. A guy just let his zoo go. That was in Ohio, huh?
Yeah,
And it was just
Zanesville.
and they attacked people. Did they attack people? Were there animals attacking people?
I think they were just running down the highway.
Right, they're running down. Well, at one point, there was a cop who was like coming within feet of whatever was charging at him, and he just shot it point blank. But it was terrible. It was like 59 different animals, including a bunch of tigers and bears and other things, all ended up having to get put down.
I've been told that Sarah does a limited fake. Are you aware of this,
Oh,
guys?
boy. No, I'm not aware.
What, are you nervous?
Well,
I'm nervous.
I mean, you guys are harsh. I don't know if it's good.
What kind of confidence do you have in this?
I'm going to say 75%.
Do you need any help with this
No.
impersonation? Do you think we'll recognize the impersonation
I hope
without an
so.
introduction?
You better.
Okay.
Okay, you ready for it?
All right, let's see here.
Okay.
Sarah's got a limited fake impersonation here.
Underneath your clothes, there's a magic story.
That's pretty good, right?
Stugotz has no idea.
No
who that is.
idea.
Shakira?
Oh.
No, it wasn't her top hit, but it's the easiest one to sing like you're choking on a ball of yogurt.
How was that? Guillermo, put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. How was Sarah Spain's limited fake Shakira? Can we put it to song? It's not as good as Mina's DMX, right?
No, of course not.
Is
No.
it as good as Amin's Obama? Is it as good as Amin's DMX? How do you feel about it in the pantheon? Where would you rank it in the pantheon of impersonations we have around
Nothing touches Mina's DMX. I mean, I literally can't tell whether it's her or DMX. It's so hard to tell. Spot on. I don't know that I heard Amin's DMX because I was too caught up in Mina's.
Behind you, you have one of our best impersonators. Right behind you, he's staring at you.
I'm one of the best. I'm Elon Musk.
so dumb.
Unbelievably dumb. Like, we can't stop doing that fast enough.
No,
like,
I never wanted to end.
Unbelievably dumb. It barely works on television, and you're holding up an Elon Musk match.
That is staying around forever, for as long as we do this show, man. Billy, don't let it go.
Well, stop it when I colonize Mars. I'm Elon Musk.
He's great.
I just feel like there is nothing to the impersonation other than the sentence where he announces what he's doing, which is usually not a key to impersonation.
That's fair. I'm Elon Musk.
Sometimes it's hard to find a satisfying vape that's simple and convenient. Blue, who introduced vaping to the world, is now introducing My Blue. My Blue gives you all the satisfaction with none of the hassle. Just click and go. With My Blue's easy-to-use one...
Don Lebatard.
Is Jay Wright the best? Yes, maybe, no.
Stugotz.
Is Jay Wright the best? Yes, maybe, no.
This is the Don Lebatard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Should be noted that Tepper's balls were a gift. He didn't go out and buy them.
Oh, he didn't buy them himself.
Yeah,
Someone else gave them to him.
It's a big distinction.
In the name of fairness, it's important to point that out. Have you guys seen, Mike, how do you pronounce this guy with the, he's got the blonde spot in his hair, Schroeder, the guy
Dennis Schroeder?
Yes.
Schroeder? That's how we
Schrader, I don't know. I mean,
put it on the poll, Guillermo. Schrader or Schroeder?
Yeah.
How old do you think he is?
Schrader, 23?
He's 25 years old. I feel like he's been in the league longer than that, and he's already tired. He's taken down all of his Atlanta Hawks stuff on Instagram. He's like, I don't want to be, second to last in the Eastern Conference. That's where we are right now, where Dennis Schroeder is taking down all his Instagram stuff because he doesn't want to be with the Hawks anymore.
When Tepper was a boy, he used to memorize baseball statistics from cards given to him by his father.
Did you see who was representing the Atlanta Hawks at the NBA draft lottery?
Who was
it? It was an actress. If you've seen Twister, like I have, I've seen it about 25 times. Bill Paxton's original girlfriend to start the movie.
No way.
Yeah, she was in The Lost Boys too.
Really?
Yeah. She's an owner now. She owns the Hawks.
Wow.
Yeah, her and her husband own the Hawks.
It's a hell of a parlay.
Tepper used to do Elvis impressions in college.
Did you guys enjoy the draft last night?
The draft lottery, it was a spectacle. Yeah. It was a spectacle. I really enjoyed the 5 commercial breaks during the top 15.
What were the best parts, Stugotz? Did you suffer it a little bit as a Knicks fan? Because you were hoping.
I'm past suffering, man. I'm done with suffering. I expect the Knicks got the pick I expected them to get, the 9th pick in the draft.
What I wanted happened, which was Philadelphia not getting, a really high pick, Boston not getting that Lakers pick. I just wanted max assets for everybody, and I certainly didn't want Cleveland to get bailed out of this, what seemingly now is a bad Kyrie Irving trade.
Ashley Simpson performed at his daughter's bar mitzvah.
Do you guys actually understand how the draft works? Because I don't. Like, when the number 8th team gets shown, and they're like, that means someone's in the top 3. I'm like, wait, what? Why does that mean that? And whoever's reading it is like, they know exactly what's going on, and I couldn't be more confused by what's happening.
The number sequence does appear to be very confusing. I saw a GIF, and I didn't know that they actually did it this way, where David Stern stood in front of a tumbler, and he spun it a couple times, and he just picked out an envelope. That's the way we should do it.
He performed with Sheryl Crow at his 50th birthday and danced on stage with Ellen DeGeneres.
Was there a desired result last night from the draft? Is there something that America would have wanted that there was, because Phoenix getting the pick.
Boring.
But Memphis getting it would have been boring. Orlando getting it would have been boring. All those bad teams getting it would have been boring.
Yep.
Although maybe Dennis Schroeder would have wanted to stay.
But I think Mike is right. Like, no one wanted to see the Cavaliers. No one wanted to see the Cavaliers get a top 3 pick. I don't think, unless you live in Cleveland. And no one wanted to see Boston or Philadelphia accumulate more assets. Although I think Boston now gets Sacramento's pick next year, right?
I don't agree with that, though. If Boston or Philadelphia get more assets, they're more in the LeBron game, and the LeBron offseason game is the only game that matters.
I'm not with these good teams who actually didn't tank themselves and had other teams do the tanking. I don't like their intelligence being paid off so immediately. Have Phoenix up there. Have Sacramento up there. Have Atlanta. I'm not worried about these teams. Don't have a good team, get a good player.
At a gala reception announcing his $55 million gift to his alum Carnegie Mellon. His college buddy aired a video tribute to him, one segment called Cindy Pearl, Thanks for Nothing, after Tepper's high school girlfriend.
Can you explain to me, Mike, what else you liked with entertainment value from the draft?
Oh, the reactions. Jerry West flew across the country to get
nothing.
2 really bad picks.
Yep. Back to back, he had that, right?
Yeah. The Pistons just being the Pistons. The reaction to not getting a high pick is so Pistons because what are they going to do? Really, they're the Pistons. I just love the pomp and circumstance of it all. You have the fans going out there. The Memphis Grizzlies had a fan called Courtney Love. Is a black dude. I wasn't ready for that.
His company, Appaloosa, has a client that makes breast implants, and according to a former employee, he loved to keep them on the desk and throw them around.
Mike is so right on Jerry West, though. He flies all the way across the country. He's excited. They got a couple of chances here to score a big time thing. And they announced his team at number 13. And you can see him. Like, you see he's upset. Like, oh, gee, bud, I got another pick. There's some hope. And then the very next pick, number 12, Jerry West.
The time-honored tradition of Pat Williams ranting into a camera for far too long about God knows what.
He's been asked to invest in a lot of things, including the Loch Ness Monster Society. He passed.
Mike, can you explain to me how many kids Pat Williams has? Because Pat Williams has been with the Orlando Magic since they became the Orlando Magic. He is a voice for the team, and the Orlando Magic, under his watch, they had Shaquille O'Neal. They had Penny Hardaway. And he has been with the organization since then. He is believed to be something of a good luck charm, even though they don't have any good luck in Orlando.
He has 14 adopted kids from 4 nations and then 4 biological.
Tepper admits he used to be more difficult. In a New York Magazine article, he says, I used to be worse. When I was at Goldman, I'd say things to people like, do you know what a schmuck is? Go look in the mirror. Now I'm kinder and gentler. Aren't I kinder and gentler? He asks his employees. In the background, there's silence.
This guy is perfect, right? He's perfect for the caricature of all these things that we think about when we think about the megalomaniac owner.
I'm disappointed he didn't go out and purchase his own brass balls, though.
Because you wanted him to go, like, shopping at what? Anthropology for that? Or like,
yeah, I want him to wake up on a Saturday and say, you know what, man, I am worth billions. You know what I want to do today? I'm going to go shopping for brass balls.
Where do you get brass balls?
I don't think at Pier 1.
No? Where? Like, what, Williams and Sonoma? Like, where? I don't know.
Williams and Sonoma?
I don't know.
That's a fine.
Is it a fine? What's it called? I don't know.
Williams, Sonoma.
Okay.
It's called Amazon.
Don Lebatard.
Fake Marty Smith, you're on ESPN Radio.
Stugotz.
Hey, Dano! It's Marty Party! What are you guys doing? Hey, Stu!
Hey, Marty!
Yeah! Hey, guys, hey! I just parachuted out of a plane, man, and in Tuscaloosa. Tuscaloosa just got down here. I'm with Nick Saban, man!
Yeah,
we're about to go bass fishing on some jet skis!
Yeah, that's great.
This is the Don Lebatard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guests on the Dan Lebatard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. Former U.S. Open champion golfer Lucas Glover's wife is facing a domestic violence charge after he missed the cut at the Players' Championship. Hear about this one? His wife was yelling at Lucas Glover for playing poorly. Glover says she always yells at me after I play poorly. Mom came in and tried to break it up, and the wife allegedly attacked the mom.
That's, I don't know if that's true or not. Is it all true?
I said allegedly. It's exactly, it's exactly what happened.
Allegedly, okay.
Yes. It's exactly what maybe happened.
All right.
Nick Saban has dismissed UCF's self-proclaimed national title, saying, I guess anybody has the prerogative to claim anything, but self-proclaimed is not the same as actually earning it. Of course he said that. And finally, per capita, New Hampshire is the hardest beer-drinking state in the union. Wedding season is upon us, and the easiest way to look fresh for your big day is with thebblacktux.com. The Black Tux has awesome suits and tuxedos that you rent online. To get $20 off your purchase, visit thebblacktux.com/Dan. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in to SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Stephen A. Smith, what is the name of the new owner of the Carolina Panthers?
Tapas.
Stugotz, what were you doing mining the internet there, finding value? I saw you very eager as you were looking at some numbers there involving the Cleveland Cavaliers and some profiting opportunities.
The Cav for the series. This is a great price. I'm telling you, plus 180 right now because everyone's down on the Cavaliers. Everyone is high on the Celtics. And you can listen, the series hasn't started yet because a road team hasn't won a game. And what I'm telling you, you can get LeBron James right now at plus 180. Okay, that's good value. I'm telling you, 2 games from now, you're going to say to yourself, I'm glad I did that, because it's going to be 2-2 headed back to Boston, and Boston going to be very nervous that they're going to blow this series.
James Tepper's a boundary pusher, and he's profane and a know-it-all who claims to have popularized the phrase, it is what it is.
You don't have any doubt about LeBron James, Stugotz?
Well, everyone's doubting today. It's an easy thing to do. Doubt, 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 doubt. You hear the promo running on ESPN? I'll remind you that he's made it to the NBA Finals for 7 consecutive seasons. Is it longer than that? I have no idea. Well, let's just go with 7 for now. Yeah, I'm not doubting.
Well, wait
LeBron
a minute.
James.
If they're reminding you of it in that promo that you're annoyed by, wouldn't you know the number because you've been annoyed? You've been complaining about that promo. Get that promo, Mike, for us, because it's been playing all over. We profit a great deal off of LeBron James.
The promo literally tells you to remember.
Right, yes, and Stugotz can't remember. He's like, I don't know, was it more than 7 times?
I didn't need to be reminded. I mean, that was the thing.
He bought the $50 million mansion owned by the ex-wife of the man who passed him over for partner at Goldman Sachs. His plan was a total renovation, including razing the current property to the ground.
I don't like seeing LeBron without real stakes, because these are fake stakes. He won his 1 championship there. He's a made man. If LeBron had the pressure of not winning...
Can you believe that? If the last time he was down 2-0 in the playoffs was in the finals against Golden State and he rallied from it, and they won, and it's one of the biggest upsets we've seen in the sport. By the way, if Boston gets to the finals and wins, it would be the biggest upset in the history of the sport. If Boston actually wins this title, there will be no greater upset in the history of basketball than Boston winning the title this year.
But how about J.J. Barea winning the low post matchup against LeBron James, NBA Finals?
But what I'm talking about is I miss moments like that. I miss all those moments. It's why I'm rooting for him to leave Cleveland. I'm happy Cleveland got their title. It worked out fine, but I just miss watching LeBron have something on the line. This is a real stake that's on the line right here. He's a made man in that town.
It's been a pretty fun playoff run, Mike. This has been as good as we've seen LeBron James play. There's been game-winning shots. I mean,
LeBron faced a ho-hum elimination game in the first round against the Pacers. Can you imagine if he didn't win a title, what that would feel like? Apocalyptic.
At a giant financial conference, he said, I know everyone hates the financials. And in describing Portugal, Ireland, Italy, Greece, and Spain, he said, holy Christ, it's like the chastity belt is off and the girl is starting to play.
Stugotz, when LeBron hit that in Marcus Smart's face where he turns around and it seems like he's just fooling around, that 3, and he's scoring 21 points in the first quarter.
Yep.
You thought they were going to win that game. Do not lie. You thought upon making that shot
I did.
that game was won.
I did until midway through the second quarter, until I started to notice how poorly LeBron was playing on the defensive end of the court, because it was bad, Dan. It's the worst I've ever seen him play defensively.
Again, I'll give the stat again. Cleveland had 11 open looks last night. Boston had 42. I'm telling you, you're losing all of the NBA games you play against anybody when those are the numbers.
One trade netted him a personal payday of nearly $4 billion. He asked the reporter, what do you think I should do with it? I could buy an island. I could buy a private jet, but I have net jets. I could get myself a 22-year-old. Sometimes, he whispers, leaning across the table, if someone is an a-hole, like a waiter at a restaurant, I think I could just buy this place and fire that guy.
Earlier in this segment, I said I was happy that Cleveland got their title. I don't know why I said that. I'm not at all happy that they got that title. I'm happy this worked out. I'm not happy this worked out.
Well, let's do this here. Let's have the Kentucky Fried Chickens come and devour you, even though you're in control of the sounder and the chickens. You've trained the chickens.
Yo, chicken time.
Fried. No idea why you said fried. No sense. It was almost a non sequitur too. You didn't need to do it. Fried.
But if he had not won the title, Stugotz, can you imagine if this is what was looking like the ending in Cleveland?
Right.
Because Mike's right.
I wish LeBron was always chasing that first title.
just for the rest of time through purgatory, after his death through eternity, just always chasing.
It was so much fun then.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
But him chasing the first one in Cleveland was fun too, because that had a ton of pressure attached to it too. But all he needed to do was get the one, and now he has the one. And it's kind of been a little bit boring, especially with the champion being a foregone conclusion as it is.
He claims to have a photographic memory.
That's the hard part, is that regardless of who comes out of the East, even if Kyrie were healthy, even if Gordon Hayward were healthy, it doesn't matter. Because that team's winning the NBA championship again, Golden State. Like, none of this matters. Mike is right. Like, it's been fun. There's been some great games, some great series. LeBron's hit some game winners. But what are they playing for? The right to get swept by Golden State.
I just can't imagine that as people marvel at this Boston team and give it credit and see the overachieving in them and talk about heart and, they're a real team, none of you want to see them in the finals. Like, you want them to beat LeBron, but you don't want them to see him in the finals.
Don't forget, he's been to 7 straight finals. The NBA playoffs continue.
I'm not nervous, man. They're going home for 2 games. Like, you're nervous? Are you nervous? You're doubting them?
Listen,
Dan, you're gonna do it
this
again?
Is where I am. No, this is where I am with them. It's the weakest team I've seen him have in 10 years. And on top of that, I have not before seen LeBron James do what he did yesterday and lose.
Do I need to remind you?
Don't forget, he's been to 7 straight finals.
When he coached elementary school kids in softball, he could be heard screaming all the way down the block.
That is so hacky. Like, why is that echoing? Why? Like, I am so tired of that promo. Listen to that again. This is so radio where we just have echoing beyond, here is a sports fact, a number, and then echoing.
He's been to 7 straight finals. The NBA playoffs continue.
No glass shattering, though, a key component to radio promo.
Mike, can you dress that up for the next segment? Can you guys dress that up a little bit? And because that's sports radio right there, right?
Yes.
Just echoing sounds.
Yes.
LeBron is great.
Yeah.
Don't forget he's been to 7 straight finals. And also sports radio is Stugotz forgetting, after hearing that promo and complaining about that promo, forgetting that it was 7 straight finals and asking, how many finals has it been?
He's been to 7 straight finals. The NBA playoffs continue.
When financials get better, he describes it as the mud loosening up.
Decking, railing, lighting, furniture, fencing, framing. At Trex, we make the most in outdoor living because you deserve to get more from your life outdoors. So why not start bringing your ideas to life now with the brand that's engineering what's next? To learn more about all of the outdoor solutions Trex has to offer, or to find a local retailer or a certified Trex Pro deck builder near you, visit Trex.com. That's Trex.com.
Don Le Batard.
Tom Ricketts is saying that the Cubs will not allow Sammy Sosa back into that organization for anything moving forward until he comes clean. And what I find absurd about that, and what a hypocrite this guy is that family made hundreds of millions of dollars off the name Sammy Sosa. By the way, he never tested positive for steroid use. And if he was using steroids, which we all assume that he was, my guess is if he was using it, the Ricketts family had an inkling that was going on in their own clubhouse. And for him to come out many, many years later and say Sammy Sosa must come clean for us to allow him back into our prestigious organization, our club, get out of here with that.
Stugotz.
Yeah, Ricketts didn't make money off Sammy Sosa. He won the bid in 2009. This was post-Sammy Sosa.
Well, that ruins my argument.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
We are all LeBron radio, as he has a game that you have never seen end in a playoff loss before. He puts up all those numbers. He gets none of the blame for what it is that happened last night. Sarah Spain in with us here, and your thoughts are that LeBron James should be blamed a little more, no?
Not so much for last night's game, but for the fact that the result of having one of the greatest players of all time is still that you have a team surrounding him that can't function alongside him, that you made a complete roster overhaul at the trade deadline and resulted in using only the same players that you already had and none of the younger, better space-clearing defensive guys that you supposedly acquired to make things easier for him. and that you were 29th in defensive efficiency, and a team that had that has never even made the postseason, not to mention winning the East, and that you still thought somehow it wouldn't matter because you have LeBron. That's a testament to him, and it talks about what a liability is.
Isn't that a product, though, of him being in Cleveland? Because in Miami, plenty of people wanted to play with him, took discounts, all the Shane Battiers and Ray Allens. He had a harder time doing that in Cleveland. You might get an occasional Shaq.
But those are ancillary guys, role player type guys, right? Like, I think what Sarah's talking about, Kyrie Irving was pretty loud in saying, hey, I'm tired of this. I don't want this in him in his final season. And all the mind stuff that goes on with
Ray
that.
Allen is not ancillary. Ray Allen made a very difficult decision.
I think it's both. I think it's both. But listen, when you got to Miami, you got there with Wade, whose team it was technically, and Bosh. So there was a different power structure. When you join a team like that, yes, LeBron is still the leader, but there are three guys atop it that are sharing some of the responsibility, some of the leadership, some of the, verbal, acumen. In Cleveland, if you show up in Cleveland, LeBron is the coach. He's the leading player. He's the guy who tells you what your role is. So it's a lot different scenario. And I just think it's fascinating. And I don't know whose fault it is altogether. You could also, I'm sure, blame the GM. But that you could have a guy who's been to the finals 7 years in a row in the East, who's in Cleveland, and who's been there for long enough now that you think that there would be other players drawn to playing with him. And instead it's that Kyrie wants out and that Kevin Love is the topic of a Windhorse interview with Simmons, saying he's one of the few people willing to stick with it and deal with getting pooped on every day for the benefit of winning games.
The general manager they had, David Griffin, is gone now, and in his stead, what they did at the All-Star break is not something that we've seen a whole lot of, where they're just like, ooh, this isn't good enough, let's totally revamp it. But you would agree, would you not, Stugotz? Even as you don't doubt LeBron James for a second, and even as you sit here and look for value bets involving that series, you would agree that this is as shook as you've ever been when it comes to LeBron James and wondering whether he's going to get to his 7th straight NBA Finals.
Don't forget, he's been to 7 straight finals. The NBA playoffs continue on ESPN Radio and on ESPN.
I have a child.
That was not better than what it is that ESPN Radio did.
I don't know.
There was a nice sharpening sound in there.
I got to hear it one more time. Hold on.
Don't forget, he's been to 7 straight
a cow.
finals.
Yellow.
The NBA playoffs continue on ESPN Radio and on ESPN.
Oh, wait, that's not an ice cream truck. It's a knife sharpening truck.
That's right.
In my head, it's always an ice cream truck, because why would there be a knife sharpening truck?
I know, but
this is Miami again.
What kind of awful horror children, your horror on children with, this is the sound with their ice cream truck.
Don't forget, he's been to 7 straight finals. The NBA
much worse
playoffs
than
continue
other ice cream
on
trucks.
ESPN Radio and on ESPN.
Also, that was Guillermo's thing, right? Guillermo, a.k.a. Forged in Fire Guillermo. Why is he so obsessed with knives?
It's part of my culture, man. Yeah, Philadelphia's so dope. You need to, Sarah, let's go on a tour today. Let's just drive around Miami until we find one.
Oh, cool. I have 4 shows today, but sometime in the middle of that, we'll go doing that. At night? Should we go at night?
No.
He doesn't work at night.
Yeah, they have families to get home to.
Yeah, don't do it.
Oh, God. Terrifying at
I know,
night.
but you have it being an ice cream truck.
I don't
like,
know
what
why.
are you doing to 4th graders with this? The kid gets there thinking he's going to get a Nutty Buddy, and instead he gets slashed by somebody.
A Nutty Buddy?
You love the Nutty Buddies, didn't you?
I just went for the
Fat
funny
Frog.
phrase there.
Fat
I don't even
Frog.
know. Do they still make Nutty
remember
Buddies?
Fat
Nutty
Frogs?
Buddies are fantastic.
Fat Frogs had the one bubblegum eye.
I remember the Tweety Bird with the gumdrop eyes.
Fat Frog?
Fat Frog. It was a green ice cream frog head, and then it had a chocolate nose and then one gumball eye.
Can you put that on the poll? Do you remember, what was the name of it again?
Fat Frog.
Fat Frog. I don't have any recollection of that.
Oh, it's a staple of the ice cream truck.
But you remember
kidding
the
me?
Nutty Buddy, which didn't exist.
The Nutty Buddy might no longer exist. It certainly existed back in my day. That's why I remembered it. There were 2 I had. That strawberry shortcake ice cream.
Oh, so good.
In 8th grade, and the Nutty Buddy. And that was about it. Maybe the push-up. I had the push-up,
Oh,
too.
push-up pops? So good.
Never went with the Astro Pop, huh? Red, white, and blue? You never
What?
went
No,
with
I didn't like that. What is the best of those?
He hates America.
That's right. What is the best of it?
Do you like the mixed flavor push pop, or you like the orange one? I love
Just
the
orange
orange
one. No,
yeah,
the swirl.
Orange. Oh,
Swirl.
No. We can't be friends.
What about a drumstick? Isn't that the one with the
Love
delicious
the good
cone
drumstick.
filled with chocolate?
Yeah. Which way do you go? Backwards? It all depends. Sometimes
That's
I
very
start
personal.
with But I mean, there's nothing more rewarding than the little chocolate bottom of the cone of a drumstick.
Backwards bottoms.
What is the best of these?
I like the standard toasted almond. Like that's my favorite. That's my favorite ice cream bar of all time. Standard toasted almond.
Never
bar.
had a standard toasted almond.
So good.
I think the Fat Frog turned into like the Ninja Turtle ice cream. Like
Probably.
they moved off of the frog and now it's Ninja
What
Turtles.
flavor is that? Is that pistachio, green ice cream?
No.
The flavor was green.
Yeah, green flavor.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't remember.
Just like the flavor of the Tweety Bird was yellow.
Yeah. I think just part vanilla, part chocolate, maybe.
Again, I will ask the question, and I want a definitive answer. I don't know who wants to do the power rankings. I want a top 10 list of best childhood ice cream from an ice cream truck. I want to see if there is a consensus list that we can put together on this.
Got an hour left in the show. I think we should get an ice cream truck here, and then we can compare it to the current offerings.
Well, the last time we talked about this, because we're in reruns on everything, somebody sent Stugotz a mountain of toasted almond ice cream, and he thought it was poison.
Yeah.
He was very
And
suspicious.
he handed it out in the street for breakfast.
Yeah, they handed them out, and then Good Humor actually stepped up, and they sent a whole carton of them, and I was giving them away on the street here. I have the definitive list of best ice cream truck ice cream of all time. I do have that
You
list.
have?
It's a definitive list, yes.
What's the website?
It's icecreamtrucks.com.
All right, we get to it next.
Washing my nose, oh yeah.
I'm a shower curtain, and I do one thing. Keep water from leaking everywhere. So you see why I feel useless compared to Geico, who does so much more. Like, not only could Geico save you money, but they've been around for over 75 years. And they give you 24/7 access online, over the phone, or on the Geico app. And they've got a 97% customer satisfaction rating. They do all this while I have to listen to this chucklehead. Oh, good, he stopped.
Washing my toes.
Oh, great, an encore.
Geico. Expect great savings in a whole.
Great news! There's a quick way you can save money. Switch to Geico. Geico could help you get great coverage at a great price, and it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com today and see how much you could save.
Don Lebatard.
People have told me before, when I was younger, that I looked like George Clooney. I'm serious. When I was younger.
Stugotz.
You have a booger in your right nostril.
So does Clooney.
This is the Don Lebatard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Sarah Spain in with us. Check her out on Highly Questionable today, 4:30 Eastern on ESPN. You can also get her That's What She Said podcast with new episodes every Tuesday. You can listen on the ESPN app or Apple Podcasts. She has triggered a violent a ruckus during the break. Everyone arguing about ice cream flavors, ice cream truck flavors. Stugotz doesn't know how to read the internet, so there is no icecreamtrucks.com.
Whoa.
But
There might be, but don't look it up.
Right, but he's okay. Does he have do you have a top 10? You're saying this is a consensus top 10 of the best ice cream truck flavors of all time according to
the Food Network.
Are you sure?
100% sure.
You're so bad/good at lying.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, I'm on the foodnetwork.com. That's where I am, and they have what is considered by many to be the definitive list of top 10
Well, let's do it then. Let's do it. Number 10, ice cream truck flavor.
Flavor Ice Freeze Pops. Remember those little plastic at the end? You used to cut it open with a scissor, green, you push it up, and
Yeah,
you just start...
pure sugar.
Yeah,
you might as well
so
just freeze a sugar packet. Number 9.
Push-ups.
Yes.
Number 8.
Snow cone.
Number 7.
Firecracker. That's the best. I can't believe you don't like that. It's the red, white, and blue.
Firecracker?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it's... Okay.
Yeah.
Number 6.
Screwball.
Good answer, says Roy.
I told you, definitive list here.
Number 5.
Strawberry shortcake.
Oh, wow. I thought I was a rebel. Number 4.
Crunch bar.
Oh, yeah.
Number 3.
Oreo ice cream sandwich.
That's new. You didn't have those back in the day.
I love those.
Number 2.
King cone.
What is the king cone?
Big cone.
All right, number one. The number one ice cream truck flavor of all time is...
the Choco Taco!
Oh! No, toasted almond bar.
No, not on there.
Stugotz's favorite is others. No fat frog.
I dispute this list.
It was on icecreamtrucks.com, but this is the Food Network, and this is the definitive one, so I go with this.
Many of you are asking after last night's game, what the hell? What the hell? Sarah, Cleveland Cavaliers and Boston Celtics, what the hell?
When you're 29th in defensive efficiency and you assume LeBron's not going to score all 100-plus points that your team needs, then that's pretty much it. When Stephen A. Smith says after almost any game that one side should be ashamed of themselves or embarrassed, I usually laugh because I'm like, it's taking a little too far. Like, they lost the game. I'm sure they did their best. But last night, second half, when there were 20 uncontested shots for the Celtics, and you looked at all the defensive plays replayed, and they were just strolling back, or they'd even release on the shot and be back in position and yet still not play any defense, they should have been ashamed of themselves.
That answer is insufficient to me. I want to mobilize everyone that we know in sports. Let's get everyone in sports that we have access to immediately, that the producers can get on the phone in the next 5 minutes to ask them about, what happened last night. Bomani Jones, what the hell, man?
I mean, the other dudes on the Cavs are sorry. Like, LeBron got his head knocked off, almost off the joint, like off the phone and stuff like that. And then I'm realizing the Western Time Zone, man, I don't be paying no attention to the dudes. I didn't know that Jordan Clarkson was sorry. I didn't tell me that Rodney Hood was sorry. They seemed like they were good when I saw, Rodney Hood play in college.
Ryan Scalabrine, what the hell?
First of all, LeBron, we knew he was going to come out guns blazing, and that's what he absolutely did. But you got to look at some of those shots that he was hitting. Nothing that the Celtics were going to overreact to. I know he got that hit in the head, but I want to look at the third quarter and the Celtics moving the ball, and the Cavs just looked uninterested in rotating, uninterested in playing defense. And I got to admit, a team that looked a little bit checked out from that second half on. Blame it on the hit, but I'm going to give the credit to the Celtics. I think they earned that win. But now they got to go in to Cleveland and see if they can get it done.
Tom Haberstroh, Stugotz says you're a quack for counting the number of dribbles in games. Tom Haberstroh, what the hell?
Seriously, what the hell with LeBron James? 42-point triple-double? Where's the 52-point quadruple-double? I mean, seriously, LeBron isn't doing enough to get all the rest of his players to play like they're all-stars. Michael Jordan would have done this. What the hell, LeBron?
Amin Al-Hassan, what the hell?
Oh, man, I mean, he looked fatigued. He looked worn out. He's working too hard out there. But then I thought that's too easy. That's too easy. No, I think the real thing is the sports whisperer got in his ear and said, hey, you don't want to be here anyway. Even if you beat the Celtics, you're not going to win the finals. You need to come down to Miami. You, Kawhi Leonard, team up, change the heat around, bring the ring back to South Beach.
Papi.
Yeah.
What the hell?
What happened? I don't know what happened. What are you talking about? What the hell, what? You mean the game last night?
What the hell?
I don't know. You tell me what. Gone fishing, you said?
I didn't say gone fishing. You say gone fishing. I ask you what the hell.
I told you don't count the Celtics out yet, boy. They're all fired up. They got a bunch of no-names with a coach that nobody respected, and they're going to make a big splash this year. I think that Golden State is getting a little bit worried now with the with Boston, if you want my opinion.
Okay, I don't.
They're a bunch of hungry guys now, buddy. I'm telling you, they got LeBron and the flunky Cavaliers on the ropes. But I like the Cavaliers' scheme, their defense, cover and love. That's a hell of a 1-2 punch. What did the crybaby said after the game? Did he blame the referees or the league or something like that he wasn't getting the calls going to the basket?
He didn't blame anybody.
Well, that's coming next time. Now when they drop 2 straight in Cleveland, I got the broom out.
Cleveland sports legend Joe Thomas. What the hell?
What's up, fellas? This is Joe Thomas here. I don't know what the hell happened last night.
16-time world champion Nature Boy Ric Flair. What the hell, man?
I have no idea. LeBron James is the greatest athlete in sports history ever. His stats are better than Michael Jordan's right now, except for championship rings, which mean nothing, but it shows his individual skills. The Cavs will rise up. They will come through. LeBron 42, 10 and 12 last night. They need a couple points from JR, and they'll be in the winner's circle.
Barack Obama, what the hell?
Well, LeBron James, he's an incredible talent. But if J.R. Smith Can't stop hitting the Henny. And the Cavs have no chance against Celtics.
Kenny G, what the hell, man? Duffman, what the hell?
Oh, yeah!
DMX, what the hell?
Yo, no! This guy, LeBron James, he's got my man, the sports whisperer, up in his ear, talking about, come down to South Beach, dog. Get at me.
Your take is exactly the same as Amino Hassan's.
Yeah, that's a boy.
Did they explain to you what we're doing here, Dick?
Yeah, kind of.
All right, good enough. Very good.
Something about the Celtics and the whoever they're playing.
Greg Cody's brother and bad son, Dick Cody. Uncle Dick, what the hell?
What the hell? Is this basketball still playing? I thought I suffered through a bunch of match madness or whatever the hell it's called, and they're still playing basketball? Like, who cares?
Bob Ryan with us, and we asked the obvious question, Bob. What the hell?
What the hell is, you think we're not shocked? You think that when Hayward went down, everybody was thinking, well, wait till next year. You think that when Irving went down, everybody was thinking, well, wait till next year. And here they are. They're surprising us day by day. They're playing with house money right to this moment.
But, Bob, what the hell?
Nah, you know what? Maybe we're all stupid. When you got 2 number 3 picks in the draft, a 6th pick in the draft, and an all-star that you pick up for free agency, named Al Horford, maybe you should be pretty good. You know, maybe we didn't look at it that way.
Bob, what the hell?
What the hell? I mean, LeBron, the guy has to do too much. When he goes 40 for 42 and a triple-double, and it's not enough to win, you know, the other guys better start looking in the mirror.
But, Bob, really, what the hell?
What the hell? You think that once they get beyond Cleveland, assuming they do, that anybody on this earth is going to give them a chance to even win a game against the Warriors, who we all know are going to beat the Rockets. And ultimately, does that matter? This is one city where they say, well, you got to win a championship. Not yet. They'll have to win the championship next year, the year after. I promise you, they don't win a championship this year. Everybody's going to say, what a hell of a year.
I get that. But what the hell?
What the hell? You know, coaching, how important is it? We're going to Stevens, everybody is going canonizing Brad Stevens, and I am definitely on the bandwagon. And it's going to have people examine where they're getting the coaches from. You know, this is the first college guy in a while to have succeeded. And they're going to have to take a look. Maybe there are some other guys out there. Maybe who's the next Brad Stevens? I think if I'm an NBA coach, I'm trying to find that guy.
But what the hell?
Well, you know, I'm looking at this series now. It's 2-0, and I know there's a bunch of people writing them off. Let me remind people that in the Milwaukee series, after the Celtics got off to a great start, they went out and got pounded in Game 3. They came back and won the series. Thank God they had the home court. But, you know, nothing's written in stone yet.
Bob, what the...
Ooh, you know, that's a different matter entirely, I would say. But really, what's going on in J.R. Smith's mind? They better come down and find him. I mean, that shove of Horford was very, very dangerous and very reckless, and he should be too much of a pro to do a thing like that.
Dame más gasolina.
Hold on a second, Mike. I want to do before the commercial. I want to do the stat of the day. Just give me stat of the day here. Take that down and give me stat of the day. The short version by my father, please.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day.
J.R. Smith had more technical fouls than points last night. Was it 30 minutes?
Bailo.
Yeah, 30 minutes.
He played almost 30 minutes?
27 minutes. He had 0 points.
At Trex, we know there's a place for wood in your backyard. We recommend the fire pit. But when it comes down to choosing the right material for your next deck, look no further than the superior beauty and durability of the world's #1 premium decking brand. Trex delivers the look of wood without all of the work and the worry, and it's made from 95% recycled materials, which makes it the right choice for your backyard 100% of the time. To learn how to make Trex your next deck, visit Trex.com to order samples.
Don Le Batard. Finally, Jane's Addiction frontman, Perry Farrell. Farrell?
Stugotz.
Perry Farrell. Farrell? Perry Farrell.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
A texter writes in, that Poppy intro is not short.
You don't get the show.
Sarah Spain in with us. That's What She Said podcast. New episodes every Tuesday. You want to listen on the ESPN app or Apple Podcast. Something has swept the nation today. Guillermo's epic sound of the day. Let's do it.
Time now for Guillermo's epic sound of the day. It is going to be epic.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
And Sarah.
She's in the group. Yeah.
I mean, I know.
You can call girls guys.
Exactly. We're friends. We're all friends.
Right,
That's what I call my friends.
Put it on the poll. Can you call girls guys?
God, it's always a thing with you.
What if you came in and said, "Hey, girls"?
I mean, just be inclusive.
That's
it is inclusive. It's an
agreeing with you.
Everything can't be an issue with you, Dan. Like, why can't we just say things and let them be things?
Fair enough.
God, you've ruined the mood now.
I'm sorry.
There is too much
I'm
thinking.
sorry I've upset you.
Reset. Hold on.
Let's start again.
Over.
All right, let's do it over again. I'm sorry.
Hold on.
Let's do it again.
Time now for Guillermo's epic sound of the day. It is going to be epic.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
You guys remember a couple years ago when they had the blue and the black dress that people also saw as gold and white?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have another one of those situations going on here, but this isn't a picture. This is actually a sound which people can hear two different ways.
Laurel.
What do you hear there, Sarah?
Laurel.
That's what I hear.
Laurel.
What are you guys hearing?
So you can either hear Laurel or Yanny. And to be honest with you, yesterday I heard Laurel. And then this morning I heard Yanny. And then I heard Laurel again on the same device. And then now, after I was listening to things for like an hour, I heard Yanny and I left the room to clear my head. And now I hear Laurel again. And I don't know what is going on.
Laurel.
Would you like an explanation?
I was greeted by Allison this morning. This is the first thing she asked me. And I said Yanny. This was like 4.5 hours ago. And now all I'm hearing is Laurel.
Well, this is the thing. I think that you hear Yanny if you go in thinking to yourself, this is the word Yanny. Play it again. Because
no,
it happened.
I don't hear it at all.
It happened to me during the break where I heard Yanny when I was thinking Yanny beforehand, and then I heard Yanny.
All right, hold on. Let me try this. I am going to think. Really concentrate. I'm going to think Yanny. I am thinking Yanny right now. Okay, I'm thinking. This is max concentration, max thinking right now.
This is a first. This is a historic first right here. This is the Stugotz maximum thinking.
All right, go. Laurel. I heard Laurel. This hurts.
Oh, all right.
Is there a reason you took your headphones off to listen as hard as possible?
Think. What do you know? Maximum think. Yeah. What do you mean? What is the explanation?
Okay, so some of it is the device because of the bass levels and the tonality of what's coming out of the device. But it's not just that. It's actually the variations in the range of frequencies that each of us are able to hear, and some of us are naturally able to hear very high pitches that extend beyond the upper ranges of certain instruments, and some people hear just a regular amount, and it tops out at a certain point. So the variances in what's coming out of that soundbite, some people just naturally don't hear the higher, some people don't hear the lower. So people who can hear the Yanny are able to hear at higher levels.
Guillermo, can you put it on the poll? What do you hear there, Laurel or Yanny? Put it on the poll.
Sound of the Day is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Upgrade to shaving with a fresh blade whenever you want for a fraction of the price. Join DollarShaveClub.com today.
Dan Le Batard.
I see a little silhouette of a man.
Stugotz.
Scaramouche. Scaramouche. Will you do the Fandango?
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
All right, Tim Legler with us. We're going to get to serious basketball in a second. But first, we got some Trey Wingo looks like. So let's go to Legler here. Tim, does Trey Wingo look like family board game night?
Oh, no question about it. No doubt.
Does he?
And the guy that reaches for the token he wants to be first.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Excellent. Some details there, Len.
Does Trey Wingo look like a statue that comes to life and speaks in a movie?
I don't feel that one as much. I don't see that one as much.
Does he look?
The board game one better.
Does he look like the red-faced soccer dad who charges the ref after a loss only to flop on the ground like a fish when accidentally bumped by a 6-year-old?
There's no question. I actually had a father like that on my son's soccer team, and all I heard the entire game was, "It's not football!" All game long.
Does he look like a bird of prey?
Yeah, I would say some sort of cross between a falcon and an emu.
Does he sound like a 3-count chicken wing appetizer dish at a Mexican restaurant run by white people?
That's the most detailed one you've ever had. I love it, yes. I'll sign off on it.
Last night, what the hell?
They're better, man. Boston's a better team. They just are. And it shouldn't really be a big surprise to anybody. Because when you look at the Cleveland Cavaliers, I think what happened with them, these gaping weaknesses and holes in their personnel that we saw all year long, they were able to be masked for the most part. They won enough games in the regular season. Then they played two teams in the playoffs that Indiana was a surprise to all of us. And then the Toronto Raptors kind of reverted back to their weak-minded ways once they got on a big stage with the Cavs. And they were able to hide their weaknesses in those series as well, primarily because they didn't do anything differently defensively game in, game out. And LeBron James just absolutely gutted them. Now you're playing a team that actually has depth, well coached, speed, very versatile, great balance, and incredibly well prepared to play them. And they're not going to allow, the same gut punch after gut punch with a guy at the rim the entire game. Even last night, LeBron had 42 points. He did his damage from the perimeter. And in those last two series, he was living at the rim, and you just can't survive when you allow people to break you down like that. Boston's not going to allow that to happen because they've got the speed to put bodies in front of them and then recover out to the three-point line at the same time. So this really shouldn't be a big surprise. It's just kind of a letdown for all of us because we want this to be a really good series.
Legs, what do you make of the criticism that LeBron's getting today, the Cavs as a team and LeBron getting for how poorly they played defensively in the second half? Legs, I saw it in the first half. I saw LeBron just letting guys get to the rim, not helping, not sliding over. I saw it in the first half. But what do you make of that criticism? Is it fair?
Yeah, it is fair. I mean, I thought some people went a little overboard last night with making it seem like they didn't even show up with any sort of effort. I thought that was taking it too far. I think at the end of the day, when you're playing against a team that's faster across the board at virtually every spot on the floor, it's going to look like that sometimes. I mean, I did a touchscreen last night. The game got away in the third quarter, and I did a touchscreen on 3 possessions in the third quarter where a rebound came off, and the Celtics grabbed the defensive rebound. And in each case, they had a minimum of 4 guys behind every Cleveland Cavalier who was running back on defense. In one case, they had 5 players in the paint, basically, when the rebound came off, getting ready to get up the floor with 5 Cavaliers back over half court, and they still got a layup. So when you have great defensive balance, you should be able to at least force a few passes on that possession. But the speed of Jaylen Brown and Terry Rozier, in particular, those 2 players, to me, that was the difference between the 2 teams in the third quarter when it got away. It was relentless, all-out assault on what you were trying to do in getting back defensively, and they broke the game open. They're just a superior team athletically, and it really showed last night more than in the first game.
I don't mean this to question you, Tim, but I just don't know from ignorance what you predicted before the series. Did you think that was that obvious before the series?
Yeah, I said they were going to win a series of 6 games before the series started. I gave 2 games, out of respect to LeBron James and the Cavs, and knowing that, it won't be easy against a guy like that. But I picked the Boston Celtics to win the series because, in what I saw in the previous series, and then you're looking at this Cavs team, and you're reminded about the limitations that these guys have. They've got a bunch of one-dimensional players, except for LeBron James. And Kevin Love, I guess, if you want to include rebounding. So he can score and he can rebound. But he's kind of a one-dimensional scorer, even, for the most part. The rest of their roster, each of those guys does one thing. Boston has 7 or 8 that do a bunch of things. And for me, that's why I attributed, the series to them. And I said the 2 biggest reasons were they're an exceptional defensive team with great speed that will be able to give LeBron enough bodies and recover, which you have to do against Cleveland. And the previous 2 teams Cleveland played couldn't. And then the coaching. And everybody trying to say, and they said it on the broadcast last night, that these are 2 exceptional coaches, and it's like basically even in the coaching department. Give me a break. Brad Stevens might be the best coach in the league. If not, he's in the top 3, and you're not going to say that about Tyronn Lue.
I'm curious if I give you this stat, because I thought the most impressive stat, and I understand that the backcourt of Cleveland was outscored something like 41-3. I thought the stat of the night that explained the game was that Cleveland had 11 open looks and Boston had 42. 42. If I give any team in the league that discrepancy, am I not getting a win against Cleveland last night, Tim?
Well, I have a feeling you, me, Stugotz, Mike Ryan, we can all, Allison, you guys, we get 42 open looks. You'll knock some down, I'm sure. Stugotz, Dan, you guys are going to make your share of open shots against the Cavs, don't you think?
I'm just saying, I couldn't believe, that's the biggest indictment of Cleveland's defense. They're just not very good at defense.
No, not good at defense. Look, there's two things that go into it. There's three. Personnel. So you have to have guys that have the athletic ability and quickness to be able to play defense. Okay, so if you're physically limited across the floor, it's going to hurt your ability to do it. But even then, you can make up for it with the other two things, which is want to, flat-out desire, and getting the most out of yourself physically, okay, because you want to do it. And then preparation, so that you know what look is coming, you know you're tight on your rotations, you can discern between when you're going to double-team a ball screen or switch it, and that's all based on communication that is ironed out in 3 weeks of training camp and then weekly in practice and film sessions. It's something that becomes part of your culture. The really good defensive teams in this league can do that. And now, the elite defensive teams have all three of those things. But even teams that don't have great athletes, like the Cleveland Cavaliers, you can still be better if you want to do it, and you're also so prepared, and it's so a part of your culture and your communication, your schemes, what you're reading, what you're seeing, the way you communicate on the court, and all of those things are hammered into your head on a weekly basis. You can still overcome a lot of your deficiency athletically. And the Cleveland Cavaliers don't really have any of those three things.
Timmy, we have less than a minute here, and I apologize, but what is it? Because we're assigning some things to Stevens that we normally don't do. We usually wait for guys to win championships. Stevens has not done that yet, but everyone's calling him the best coach in the NBA. What is Stevens doing differently than every other coach?
Well, I think what he does for me, when I watch them play, what I see is a team is, first of all, he gets tremendous connection amongst his players. And that's not just, we got lucky, we got good guys. It's more than that. It's the way you communicate with your players and the way that you encourage playing for the guy next to you. And you create that as a coaching staff. I really believe that. So they do that as well as any team in the league. It's what I just mentioned about preparation. You can just see the way that they move defensively and where their heads are and the way they communicate, that they're a team that has worked on these things. And the hardest part of basketball is teaching defense being on a string. It's very hard to do it, and it takes a lot of time and commitment to want to be that good defensively. Brad Stevens puts the time in to do that. I also think he just does a phenomenal job at just, understanding what buttons to push within a game, out of the timeout, late game, when you're going to mix it up defensively out of a timeout on a possession. Your spacing and the way your guys move without the ball getting their weak side action. All of those things. I mean, he just if you look at a profile of what a really good coach does to a basketball team, just watch the Boston Celtics play, and I could watch it with you and stop it all and say, this relates to coaching.
Tim, thank you. We'll check in with you during the finals. Thanks for making the time.
For sure. Anytime, guys.
Hi, everyone. Stugotz here. Support for the Dan Le Batard Show podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you are confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, and your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you the same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. Rocket Mortgage is simple, allowing you to fully understand all the details and be confident you are getting the right mortgage for you. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Stugotz. That's rocketmortgage.com/Stugotz, STUGOTZ. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states. NMLS consumeraccess.org number 3030.
Dan Le Batard.
People who love this show tend to really, really love Stugotz.
Thank you.
Stugotz.
I mean, yeah, the love is unreasonable for a man of your despicable core.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Let's update the polls today at Le Batard Show. This show has flown by. Also, CBS. Stugotz was making fun of CBS because CBS sent out its press release today, and all they did was dust off something that was in the file cabinet from 1992 Magnum PI and Murphy Brown are about to make a return. CBS trying to get in the game, in the Netflix game. They're trying to get in the content game by bringing you the old classics that everyone eats up. And I guess that Magnum PI is going to again be Tom Selleck?
Yes. No. CBS, their 2018-2019 schedule was released, okay? And they are merely announcing that Magnum PI heads to Monday. Murphy Brown, she'll head to Thursday. I mean, the fact that we're still trotting out these shows is amazing.
Tom Selleck's still on Blue Bloods,
yes,
I believe.
correct.
He
Yes.
can't be pulling double duty. So,
My bad. I'm sorry.
So actually, an interesting development. Magnum PI, now Brown. Jay Hernandez, Magnum PI.
Wait a minute. Magnum PI is not white?
Now he's Jay Hernandez.
Yep.
Really?
And he's dreamy.
I mean, so was Tom Selleck.
Yes, he was. Still is.
At Le Batard Show on Twitter. What do you have for us, Stugotz?
I got to find him. Hold on. Sorry. This is a product of me not being prepared. And also looking up the thing I told you about 3.5 hours ago. Oh, I owe money because I just blamed someone for something.
Can you imagine Tom Selleck being on TV the same time as a Magnum PI reboot? I mean,
it's wrong.
It's crazy, right?
It's crazy.
I know.
It is. Thank you, Roy. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing we've ever heard.
It really is. Do you know Speedy's real name? Speedy Claxton, that is. 91% of the audience said no.
It's Craig, right?
Yes. Is Craig Claxton a good porn name? 59% of the audience said no. Do eye rolls happen in every marriage? What's our highest percentage?
98.
Oh, man, so close. 97%.
No, yesterday, our Stugotz and Greg Cody, allergic to new information, is the highest voting we've ever gotten. We'll never get 100%, but 98%, because there'll be one bleep hole out there that's always going to say no,
Right.
just to screw it up. But 98% is pretty amazing.
Will the Warriors beat the Celtics even if Steph and KD are out? 58% of the audience said yes. Schrader or Schroeder? 79% of the audience said Schroeder, Mike. I think we were right.
I think I said Schroeder.
He's 25 years old and he wants out with the Atlanta Hawks, even though he's a thoroughly average basketball player.
How was Sarah Spain's limited fake Shakira? 69% of the audience said it was bad.
Nice.
Do you remember Fat Frog? 88% of the audience said no. Did you hear Laurel or Yanni? 68% of the audience said Laurel.
Laurel.
Was the polls.
Does Trey Wingo look like the guy who, while at his daughter's graduation party, sneaks all the other male guests to his garage to show off his 1978 Pontiac?
He sure does. I would end the Trey Wingo category.
I don't think so. Wait a minute.
Oh, you got something better?
I think I do. Does he look like the public defender who has to keep looking at his court papers to remember his client's name?
Oh, man, I'm going Pontiac. That's good, but you led with Pontiac.
Yeah.
Does he look like the guy who, when you first meet him, asks you what your name is, then repeats it 3 times correctly, then says, I got it, and then says it again incorrectly?
Pretty sure he is that guy.
Yeah, he is that guy. But again, you started with Pontiac, and like it's hard.
There's nothing better than Trey Wingo sounds like a 3-count chicken wing appetizer dish at a Mexican restaurant run by white people.
Yeah, it was a top seed in the tournament for damn good reason.
But that's the sounds like game, not the looks like game. Looks like, the other
Totally different game.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be all for starting a sounds like bracket. If you guys want to do that tomorrow, I want to do thoroughly average baseball players tomorrow. I want to do thoroughly average football players tomorrow. Guillermo, why are you looking at me like that?
We have a whole system that's not sounds like.
$2.
I'm a one-trick pony, literally. I show up at kids' parties and act cute. That's pretty much it. So excuse me for being bitter. When Geico says not only could we save you money on car insurance, but we do more. Like give you 24/7 access online, over the phone, or even via our award-winning mobile app. Well, ooh la la. Aren't they multi-talented? Hey, I said organic carrots.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.